ready to roll. So thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you everyone that's on here now. We are going to have a great time today. As we used to say back in the day, we're going to have a high time here on Financial Fun Friday. Right, Rita?
Letting everybody know she old. I ain't gonna say that. I'm like, it's happening, y'all. It's happening. I'm doing the new school thing. Letting everybody know how old I am.
Yes, we're gonna have a high time, so we're gonna go ahead and get started because it is 10 a.m. And you know what we always say? You're welcome here to Financial Fun Friday. So we're gonna move a little bit.
You're welcome. Come on in. Come on in.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead. I don't know what's going on, but we want to do it. Yeah. Yes, so good morning, everyone. Good morning, Facebook. Welcome to another fantastical episode of Financial Fun Friday. I am your co-host, Darlene Jenkins, and my other co-host,
Dr. Rita Bailey Rowland.
Dr. Rita Bailey Rowland. And of course, we are being sponsored and brought to you by Affordable Benefit Solutions Incorporated, where we're always bringing you what's current and what's next. So, on Financial Fun Fridays, for those of you that are just joining us for the very, very first time, this is a webinar that we do on the first and third Friday of each month at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we also broadcast simultaneously on Facebook Live. Welcome, Facebook. And as a matter of fact, if you're on Facebook right now, please go ahead and share on your feed all of the good information that you're getting right now. And so during the Financial Fun Fridays, what we do is that we pull back the curtain so you can get an in-depth understanding of your employer benefits, also your retirement preparation options. We give you various strategies and financial tips to help you reach your financial destination. So if you would like to be on here live on the broadcast with us, where when you talk, we talk back, don't we, Beverly? So you can register to be here live with Rita and myself at ritabrolandevents.com. Also, you can like us on Facebook. Please, right now, go over to our Facebook page at Your AB Solutions, like us and follow us. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please go ahead, give us that thumbs up and like us. And as a matter of fact, we would like to ask you right now who are watching us, go over to our YouTube page and subscribe so you can get up-to-date information on all of the videos that we upload in different content. So the whole purpose of the reason Rita and I decided to do the Financial Fun Fridays, our purpose was just to help you understand your benefits, your money, your spending habits. And Rita, I think we should go back and do that money personality quiz, because your money personality determines your spending habits, right, Rita?
And I think it's great because after we just finished this 30-day no spending challenge, we probably had an opportunity to see ourselves and just to kind of I know the first time I went 30 days with no spending, it made me see how much I did spend. And it was an unconscious spending. Like, it's just like we're on robot. And so much of what we do is just like you're buying stuff, you're ordering, with this Amazon one, click this swipe, and you're like, you don't even have time to change your mind. Like, I didn't mean to do that. So I think it'll be a great idea to go back so we begin to see how do we spend and how does it connect to who we are.
Absolutely. Because that one click will get you in trouble. So, but that's why we do all of that. But more importantly, we are here to support and offer you solutions that will enable you to reach your financial destination. So your Financial Fun Friday team and all of our associates at Affordable Benefit Solutions, we are here to support you. Now, this webinar, before we get into today's information, I just want to let you all know that the information we go over, it's really presented in a generic approach. And the reason we do that is because we don't know each and every person who's on here, who will be watching us, who's watching us right now on Facebook. So we can't tailor it to your specific information without you doing what? Contacting us at 301-577-6340. All of the information that we go over. If something strikes a nerve and you're like, you know what? I need to talk to them. I need to know how to do that. We can customize all of the information that we go over on this platform with you. So thank you for understanding that this information is presented in a general context, and take the information and apply it where you feel it best fits your particular situation rather. So thank you so much for understanding. Of course, this year's theme, as last year's theme, is fiscal fitness.
Getting our money tight.
Getting our money, right, Rita?
Yeah, building up some muscles in that pocketbook. So it's a little, you know, it could be a little weak. So we're trying to strengthen up the muscles in the pocketbook.
Absolutely, yeah. Who needs their purse muscle strengthened? I do. So that's what we're talking about. But so that's the theme for this year. And guess what? We want to know, for those of you that participated in the 30-day no spend challenge, did you survive the no spend month? And for those of you that are just tuning in for the first time, last month we did a 30-day no spend challenge. And the objective was to only spend money on necessities. And then we were to track the money that we saved. So real quick, if you're watching us on Facebook or if you're on here, let us know what your experience was like. Did you survive? Did you fall off the wagon and like, you know what, I'm going to try this again another time? I had someone tell me, when you do the 7-day challenge, let me know. I need to take it a week at a time. So do you need a 7-day challenge, a 3-day challenge? How did the 30-day no spend challenge go for you?
Let's see what they say now. Well, while they're putting it in the chat, but in Facebook, I am watching. So if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my phone on Facebook. Let us know. For me, I did mess up on Valentine's Day. I got so caught up in the love thing, you know, getting stuff for having a dinner because y'all ain't want to cook. See, I really could have went to the store and cooked. Let me just be transparent here, but I ain't want to cook. So look. Our soul will give us an excuse. I took my grocery money and bought us dinner. You see how the soul will talk to you? But I did mess up on Valentine's Day. I did, you know, get them a little card and some dinner. So I did mess up then, but I definitely saved probably a good $150, $200 on things I would have purchased from Amazon. Things that you may say you need, but those are things that you really don't necessarily need. It's just things you want. So I definitely probably spent, and then just eating out, it may have been more than that. So I definitely saved money. And it was really conscious to know how much is easy to spend. Like you think about, you go in the store and you're just picking up stuff. Even in the grocery store, when I went to Walmart, I went there with a list, and then you start walking down them aisles and you seeing everything. And that was even a challenge because those things were in the store, but they were unnecessary. So I think it was really good to do that. And we may need to do it again, but as they say, we may be having no spend week or something.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so Ronnie said, look, I know I did not. Ronnie, does that mean you didn't do it? Ronnie said it was just too stressful, and we get it. And so, you know, I had some, you know, a little issues myself, and I had to admit that this time was much harder for me. And Beverly says, I survived. All right, Beverly. She said, no online shopping for her at all.
Wait a minute.
Wonderful.
I don't know, Darlene. Beverly, you said no online shopping. That don't mean you didn't go in the store and shop.
No, she said she's not. I messed that up, Beverly. I'm sorry, because Beverly getting ready to start typing in all caps to me like she did before. She's like, wait a minute. She said she is not an online shopper. And Rita, we have to give her credit because she said, I did survive. I survived.
So we got a little gift for you for saying that you survived. And Denise said that this time was much harder, like we all said, and that she's down with the no 7-day challenge. So maybe we can think of something, you guys, just to change how maybe we'll do a no spin, a 7-day no spin every week that we just kind of focus in and maybe do some other things. So we'll think of some ways if you come up with something else, but just being in a position where you're in control of your spending and your spending is not in control of you is a powerful place to be, because many people whole financial situation, their life is upside down because they didn't have control of their spending, that their spending had control of them. So kudos to everyone, even if you try and you messed up, but you did it 50% of the time, 70% of the time, or even 30, you did better than you did the month before. That means you saved some money 30% of the time, 50% of the time, or 80% of the time. So don't beat yourself up. Just be conscious of it. And let's just keep it going. Let's think about these 7 days once a month.
Exactly. And Rita, we have to give a huge shout out to Deborah. She saved $175. She
Let me just put this.
Eating out.
Deborah, who was the other one?
To you. Yes, she is about saving that money. All of you did wonderful. And she agreed that it was harder for her as well. It was definitely harder for me. I don't know if it was just mental or the fact that I could get out. I'm not sure, but I'm definitely down with the 7-day challenge. So we're going to do that.
We're going to keep going, but where you click through, the reason why it was hard, because last time we did this is called coronavirus 19 sent us back in the house, and we couldn't leave the house anyway. So we had to push to no spin. We were such in the shock of what was going on. We wasn't even trying to leave the house, fear we was going to catch corona. So that really would made it easier than last time.
Exactly. Holding on to them dollars, honey. We was holding on to them dollars because we didn't know what was going to happen. But this month, everyone, is National Women's History Month, where we celebrate all of the goodness and the greatness of women and their contributions to our country and to the world in general. And just a little background on Women's National History Month. This actually started, was brought online in 1981. And Congress passed a resolution that in March the 7th or the 8th in 1982, that week, it started out as Women's History Week, would be designated as Women's History Week. So each year, the president made a proclamation with the joint houses of Congress. I was getting ready to go somewhere, Rita, but they came together and issued this proclamation every year for March to celebrate women and our achievements and what we have brought to the table, like I said, for the country, for our families, for the world in general. And then in 1987, that's when it became designated as a month. Because can we really just be contained to 1 week, ladies? Can we? So they were like, no, we need the whole month of March to celebrate. We're doing so many good things and big things. We're making it happen. And so that's how we came about having a whole month. And this is a resolution that they still come together and pass, where the month of March is designated as National Women's History Month. So we want to look at, we put out a poll to you all, and we're going to be doing a drawing. So this year, remember, we said we were revamping, and we're doing a new thing in 2021, and we want to get you more involved. And so we're going to be posing different questions and asking for input. And when people send us questions and send different information, thoughts, we're putting it in a what are we going to put it in, Rita? A bag, a jar, or something? But we're going to be doing a drawing. We're going to put it in something and shake it up and pull your name out the hat if you write into us with some questions or some information topics, whatever the case is. We put it out. You have to follow us on Facebook on our page, because that's where we put it out, and we put it in our Financial Fun Friday group. And so we had some people to come back to us, and these were the top 3 that kept, recurring themes. Number 1, the impact of the pandemic on women. How has this pandemic been affecting us specifically? Then we got this a lot when I was like, what are some issues facing women? We can't get along. That's what we said. Why we can't get along? So I said, okay, well, it seems we just can't get along, right, Rita? So we're going to talk about that issue. Then the other thing that I was, grappling with is pay disparity. Why are we making less and doing just as much or more? So we're going to get into all of that. Okay. Now, so let's just jump right into it. The pandemic and the women in the workforce. What has been happening with us? This pandemic has hit us harder. And please drop your comments, drop your stories in the chat box on Facebook. We see you, we're responding. But women, we were already earning less. But again, I'm going to digress to that when we get to pay disparity. So because we're earning less, we oftentimes save less because we have less money. Okay, so women have far fewer savings in general. Maybe not the women on here, but there are at large a lot of women that don't have a lot of savings. And Rita, you often say that, hey, we may be all right, but when our circle, the people that we come in contact with, when they are not all right, guess whose purse they come to?
And Darlene, I think it's so important to even understand that women earn less, but then they have fewer savings. But I think the other issue that there's so many single mothers or women raising children, so they truly have less because in times like this, they didn't have a joint income to share in this whole process. Some families, one person, the husband or the wife lost their job, not both. But when you're a single mother and you can't work, that your entire household income has been halted. So I think therein lies a bigger issue as well, is that there's a lot of single mother raising children, which you understand. So when you're hit hard, your entire household is hit hard.
Absolutely, Rita. And that's another factor that the majority of, there are quite a few single parent households. And during this pandemic, even though we have a huge unemployment population right now, but more women lost jobs than men. Over as of September of last year, September of 2020, there were 800,000 women who had lost jobs, but 250,000 or so men. So we lost 4 times more jobs than men. And the reason that is that women tend to be more into what they call the informal economy. And I don't know why they call it informal, because these are all services that we actually need to survive. We're doing the, I don't like to call it housekeeping, but right now the politically correct term is not coming to me. But those that are doing, like in domestic jobs such as cleaning, being nannies, where you don't have a lot of social protections. Rita, help me. What is that type of?
I know, but we know what you mean. But it's just even jobs like just maybe being a, receptionist, or jobs where they think isn't important. The fact that, the terminology says informal goes to let us know that if it's not, some white collar work job, then maybe it seems to be not as important. But who kept us going during this entire pandemic wasn't the professional people. It was these, as they call the informal economy, the people that's cleaning the building, who kept your office clean, who kept the hospitals clean, who kept the people working in the grocery stores. After each time you go, they cleaning off the what you call that little thing that's just slide your grocery. They cleaning that off so that our stuff can go in there clean. So, it's interesting that they call it the informal economy, but to me, they kept us going. The people that took care of the trash were women. I think they showed this in New York or New Jersey. They showed that all of these women that work on the trash truck. I don't know if that's called trash trucks, but we having a problem with names today of stuff, but.
Sanitation workers, they're not called trash trucks anymore. And thank you, Beverly, it's the conveyor belt. That's what it is.
Yeah. So just so many jobs like that we loved them. In the hospital, I wanted them to come around and clean the hospital and make sure that those rooms were clean. So I think it's just important. And they still had to go to work. And so they had a greater impact because some of them had children, didn't have a babysitter. And so some of their low income had to go because schools were closed, so they no longer. So I think it's really important for us to understand how this impact us. And I think we have to begin, as I said before, it's not about you if it hasn't impacted you, but it's impacted a sister, a mother, a friend, a stranger who you don't know. And so being really aware of the impact on one, it really does impact us all.
Absolutely. And when you said, Rita, you just brought up another issue too with children. Most women, and I'm not going to say most women, because there is a statistic that is just flew. When I stood up, my brain sat down. I don't know what happened to that statistic, but it flew out my head. A large percentage of working women that have children in the home with them under 14. And so that's another thing, because the schools closed down, because the women, we have been, we're the mother. And so we are still fighting against these traditional roles. And as I said, there were 4 times as many of us that had to come home. And even if there are 2 parents in the home, it is still the mother that they look to, like, hey, mom, make sure these children are online, and she's working from home. And so just having a little patience and understanding that when you have a 4-year-old, they're not going to act like a 15-year-old and sit there and be quiet. Oh, mommy's here. I need your attention. This is not something I'm used to getting. And men, how can you help in this? Stand up and speak up for the women and stop cutting us off when we're talking. We're going to get to that in the pay disparity, but I just wanted to get that out. And another thing that we have been dealing with, Rita, since this pandemic is domestic violence. It's up 25% since the start of the pandemic. So please, ladies, let's watch, let's listen, and be aware of our fellow sisters in the workforce, and to see how can we help your situation. And one way we can help is by not pointing out all of the things that they may be doing wrong. Why can't you keep your child quiet? Make them go sit down. I know you glad your child grown, and I know I'm glad mine is grown. So let's just have a little patience as they are dealing with the younger children, because guess what? They not used to being cooped up and sitting down at school. They can run around and do stuff. So that's my take on it, Rita. What about you?
Yes. And I just want to say thank you to all the men that is online that you're watching. Please don't turn off, because all of you have a wife, you have a daughter, you have a mother, sister, or just a girlfriend who you can bring this information back to, or just even be more aware of what they have to go through. Because sometimes it's not that people don't care or people are not sensitive. Sometimes when we don't know something, it's hard for us to be able to react or understand when we don't know. So sometimes just being aware and bringing you some knowledge today that you may not even have thought about, because sometimes it's hard to see ourselves outside of ourselves. So thank you to all the men. Kevin, thank you for trusting us and for your financial destination. So we thank you.
Yes, Kevin, thank you so much. And Rita, it just came to me, the women, there's a whole nother classification of workers in this, the informal economy. They refer to them as pink collar workers. So you got the blue collar, you got the white collar in the office, and then you got the pink collar. That's all the women. Did you all know that? Did anyone know that these women that are doing domestic work, grocery store chains, jobs traditionally that or mostly employing women, that they're called pink collar jobs? I was shocked when I read that. Yeah, so we're going to go on. So the next thing we want to talk about, Rita, is can we just get along? Because that came to us a few times, and I'm like, wow, women aren't getting along. I mean, I knew it, but just to hear it, vocalized, put in writing to me, I'm just so thankful and blessed that I have such a great relationship, not only with my Financial Fun Friday team member, who is my best friend. She's been dealing with me over 40 years. But I had such a great circle. I know, y'all. I had such a great circle of friends. So, Rita, can you speak to us on this topic and try to, what it seems like we don't get along, but I feel like women can get along.
I mean, for sure, we know women can get along because we have, as you know, since 1980. So this year is 41 years of us getting along. So we know that women can get along, and so many women that are listening to us have friends that they get along with. But as what I do for 32 years of sitting down with clients, I've had a lot of women tell me that they don't have any girlfriends, they don't deal with women, they only got male friends, and I'm looking at them like, how you don't deal with the person who look like you in the mirror? But so I hear it a lot, even though it's foreign to me and you who have the different groups of friends. And even though we're best friends, we still have other groups. It is still a real issue. And I think some of the issues that I read this article, but as a life coach, I hear a lot of stuff too. And so, when you think about it, the places where we go to socialize, we're already limited for many women, especially those that have children, because you think about it, you get up, you take your kids to school, you feed them, you go to work for 8-9 hours, travel, you come back, you got to do homework, feed them. Before the time is like, you don't really have time on the weekend. Your kid, I remember Jordan doing ice skating, Jordan, like you so busy. And even when, and me and Darlene are best friends. I'm her child godmother. But when that child came about, we had limited time together because she had a lot to do with her child. And so I think sometimes then the pandemic came and we really had limited place because the few times that we would go out, like we had made a pact that every fourth weekend that we would go do something together as friends. But then when the pandemic hit, we couldn't go to the restaurants we wanted to go. We couldn't go anywhere. And because they had us all terrified at the beginning of the pandemic, we didn't even want to come around each other. So I think the isolation of COVID also made that problem grew even greater because it was already limited. And now, so we got to be really careful to stay in tune, whether you use Zoom. And so me and my sister, my cousin, sometimes we haven't had a chance. So we've been doing movie night on Zoom, like we can't see each other. So I play a movie and we watch it together and comment. So there's ways to do it. Second thing is that you too caught up on having a crew. And I think you think about it that, you always want a posse. All of us really want a posse, but you want somebody who has your best interest at heart, somebody who is not negative, somebody who's positive, somebody who's helping you move to your next level. And then also don't let social media or what you see on TV confuse you. The Real Housewives of Atlanta and all these different places, and now the girls from the Belle. I don't know about y'all, but I don't have friends like that. When me and Darlene and Sophia, me and my sister, my cousin, whoever, we're not getting together and we always got an argument. So we got to be real careful that we don't have these superficial friends or what it looks like on the outside. You got to really go within and determine, what do you want? What's the type of person that you want to be around? And become a friend, because sometimes we want a friend, but we're not willing to be a friend. And what does that look like for you to be a friend? And you're playing roles to please others. One of the things, look, y'all, I've been getting life coach myself. I'm a life coach, but I've been getting life coach myself since 2009. One of the things my pastor, who's also a life coach as well, we're talking about this imposter syndrome. How many of us have this imposter syndrome? Like, really, who are we? Who is the real Rita? Will she stand up? Who is the real Darlene? Who is the real you behind this thing that you have created to make yourself look a certain way, to be a certain way? But behind that, is that really you? And so sometimes we're trying to make friends, or we're being friends with people who are not really who they are. And I think becoming really your authentic self, not these surface friends. And don't let, listen, I'm not putting down social media, because y'all on social media watching us. So social media is powerful, but we got all these friends and all these likes that sometimes confuse us to be what's real. I don't know about y'all, and it kind of bothers me, Darlene, that I'll post a picture of me and I listen, I'm grateful. So don't stop telling me, girl, you looking good. I want all y'all to say all of that. But if I post something about something real or positive, it's like, it's like I had the measles and nobody wanted to click that because they gonna catch the measles too. So become what's real and just make sure that they're really authentic, and that women sometimes can be very competitive, and they're threatening about the next person moving to the next level, right? And you see it a lot in the workplace. You got to be able to celebrate each other's successes because your time is coming. And if you can't celebrate and applaud the person for moving to the next level or doing something good, or they started a new business, jealousy is a thing that, like, it'll rob you. And comparison is the thief of all joy. So comparing yourself to someone else, and it makes you feel inadequate, you're stealing all of your joy. And the word says, I know y'all, some of y'all may not know, I probably shouldn't, but I'm gonna just be who I am. A merry heart is like medicine, but a broken spirit would dry up the bone. And we're a nation of people who are full of arthritis and joint issues. And I know because I suffer with it, where they thought I had lupus and scleroderma. And part of the Lord showing me that my issues wasn't physical. My fingers were crooked. My joints were hurting. I had 2 torn rotator cuff. My spine was broken. What he showed me was that my emotional place was a wreck. And so who showed up most of the time was that emotional, broken little girl who had so much pain on the inside. So when you're showing up with people, are you showing up in that state? Who's showing up when you go meet these friends? Is your nasty self showing up? Is your broken self showing up? Is your abused self showing up? Who is really showing up to be the friend? Because sometimes, darling, we want to be something that we're not ourselves. Mm-hmm. And so, and you got to put time and effort into being a friend. But sometimes you got to clean, what we're learning now, soul class. And you guys, we're having a class tomorrow night. I'll tell you about it. You got to begin to heal your soul. And that's the time and effort, not only in being Darlene's friend, but even who am I? Darlene would tell you was it about a year or so ago? I had this time with myself where the Lord made me write out everything. And I was in a state that I was crying, and I was writing out. He was like, why? I had this why thing. And I tell everybody when I meet with you, let's talk about the why. And I started writing out. And before I finished, I had 5 pages of notes about myself. And he made me see myself. He showed me pride. He showed me this. He showed me it was insecure. Like, I had all this stuff. And that day I cried. And I said, Lord, I see how people get depressed. I see how people maybe take a drink more than they want to. I see how people get a little high, but you said you wouldn't leave me, nor would you forsake me. So at that moment, I began to see myself, and I began to change. And I had to call my friend, I called my sister, and I apologized to them because maybe how I treated them was based on my brokenness, and it wasn't right. So Darlene, you remember that day when I called you? Was like, she ain't even sure what's going on. But I apologize to her because who I wasn't really a good person at times because of my brokenness. And so I think it's just so important that our soul begins to heal, because we can't get along with people, not because of who we are. We were created great. We were created in his image. So it's just that a lot of times, Darlene, is what's on the inside of us that can't connect. And sometimes 2 broken people trying to come together. And you know what's going to happen? It's going to be toxic. You're going to be good friends one day, and you're going to be a mess the next day. And so jealousy, envy, all of that stuff has to be uprooted out of us, because women can get along. I got a lot of women that I get along with who like me, who love me, and we have a good time together. So we know that it is not true that women can, but what sometimes often comes into play are some of the things that I talked about, and there's probably so many more. And the fact that you're talking about you only get along with women, a lot of those women, when I ask them what happened in your childhood, they got an issue with a sister, they got an issue with a mama, somebody who's close to their heart has broken their trust. So when you can't trust your mama and you can't trust your sister, it's hard for you to trust another woman. And so just begin, as my pastors say, track and trace. One of the things I talk about, go back, just keep asking yourself why, so you can get to the root of who you are. And when you know who you are authentically, you can show up in the world authentically. And the people that you attract will be authentic people just like you. And guess what? Maybe they are broken, and maybe you get a chance to help heal them, to help change them. Because at the end of the day, y'all, we are here for each other. We were not born selfish creature. We were born for each other. And so it's important for us to become all that we can be, so that we can then help everybody else become all that they can be. And for all of the women on, sisters, the men on the line, invite your daughters, invite your wife. I do a show every month called I Am My Sister's Keeper. And at the bottom, Jenkins, if you could type that in the chat box and on Facebook, and you go to www.ritabroland.us like us, and you can register to hang out with us each month on the fourth Thursday of every month. I have women coming together, and we have all kind of topics. We talk about mental illness, domestic violence, financial health. So we do exercise, meditation. We have a litany of things to talk about to help heal ourselves, heal our mind, heal our bodies, and to heal our soul, because healed people are really good, healed people. So I think I know you guys are probably like, what happened? This is my vein. I think this is why part of me was created, to really help people come through.
So yes, please join us on the fourth Thursday of every month for I Am My Sister's Keeper. It is refreshing, rejuvenating, invigorating, and you get, a lot of great information. So we really appreciate you staying on here with us, because guess what? All we're trying to do is plan for you to have a great future. And planning is just going out to the future, looking at what's going on, and then bringing it back here to the present so that we can do something about it. And that's what Mr. Alan Lakin said. So let's plan and get ourselves together. We've laid out on this episode some of the things that we need to address, ladies. We didn't get to pay disparity, but we are going to do that on the next episode on March the 19th. So contact us today so that we can help you map out a strategy to put all of the pieces together. And we here at your Financial Fun Friday team, we are members of Affordable Benefit Solutions, and we are a full financial solutions firm. And we can help you with all aspects of your financial planning, from your retirement planning, income planning, estate planning. That's my baby right there. Insurance services. We're going to say it again. Facebook and GoFundMe is not an insurance policy. So we can help you get a real one for yourself, have a tax-free retirement income, disability income, and more importantly, to help put it all together, Rita, and put it in a bow, help you get your credit and debt together. So we can help you with all of those things, because we are a full service financial solutions firm here at Affordable Benefit Solutions. So contact us today, 301-577-6340. And you know what? Call, book an appointment with your girls, with one of our Affordable Benefit Solutions team members, because we are here ready to serve. Absolutely. So thank you so much for joining us today. Kevin, do I need to call you after this so we can have a little talk? But you my guy. Don't worry about it. So thank you all for joining us today for another great episode. Thank you for hanging in here with us. Again, share this on your Facebook page. Head over to our YouTube page. Like and subscribe over there. We appreciate you. Call us in the office, 301-577-6340. And we look forward to seeing you on March the 19th on the next broadcast. Have a great weekend. We got some beautiful days ahead of us, everyone. So thank you for joining us, and enjoy your weekend.